This is Southern Cross News with Rachel Williams.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. First tonight, a southern Tasmanian community has been left devastated after a suspicious blaze tore through its volunteer fire station overnight. The town of Middleton remains on edge as police investigate possible links to recent criminal activity in the area.
A vicious blaze engulfing the Middleton fire station around 7 last night. Volunteer firefighters battling the inferno, desperate to save their beloved depot. Neighbours startled by the seriousness of the flames.
Yeah, it was pretty scary to be honest. But then they all started to arrive and, they started to get things going.
Local firefighters putting their lives on the line, removing a fire truck in hopes of getting the blaze under control quickly.
Me and another bloke got this one out of the station and started putting the fire out before everyone got here. So.
A brave move with consequences. Stephen Clements hospitalised for burns as 4 others were treated on site, also suffering smoke inhalation.
They're quite passionate about their brigade and their equipment, and they wanted to try and do whatever they could to save their equipment, their station, and provide a service for the community.
A community now coming to terms with a deliberate arson attack on volunteers who strive to keep them safe.
People are a bit upset because everyone rolls around the fire station and they do a good job.
Most of the local boys, do their bit. Yeah, they put a lot of time in. Yeah, they're all volunteers and it's a big part of the community.
Police are now hunting the culprits following an attempted arson at the same station just last week and break-ins around the nearby town of Woodbridge.
All information surrounding this fire tonight or last evening will be investigated in conjunction with any other information or ongoing investigations in the area.
The damage bill is estimated at $600,000, with the station recently extended through weeks of fundraising. A relatively new fire truck also badly damaged.
Our new shed we've just built, we hadn't even finished it.
The state government will replace what's been lost as the TFS organises temporary protection for the community.
The surrounding brigades will be providing the immediate response in the immediate future. We'll be getting another truck into the area as soon as we possibly can, and it may even be later today or early tomorrow.
Those with information can contact Crime Stoppers. Jacqueline Robson, Southern Cross News.
Dog and livestock owners are being urged to remain vigilant tonight after more than 20 alpacas and sheep were mauled to death on the outskirts of Launceston. Investigators believe more than 2 dogs are responsible, but they're yet to be found. And a warning, some viewers may find the following images graphic and distressing.
John Binns has been left devastated, waking this morning to find all 7 of his alpacas dead. One killed was only metres from he and his wife's bedroom.
It was sickening to see. We had 6 breeding females and 1 male, and they were all pregnant.
John is one of 4 St Leonard's property owners affected by the suspected dog attack. Across the suburb, 9 alpacas were killed and up to 17 sheep. Greg Denham woke to a phone call from his distraught neighbour.
I thought I'll get up and go and help the poor buggers, and then looked out the window and saw my sheep had all been attacked and mauled as well.
It sort of cuts your legs from underneath you.
The few animals, many which were pets that did survive, have since been put down. City of Launceston animal regulation officers are investigating alongside Tasmania Police. The council is also assisting property owners dispose of carcasses. In a statement, the council said it will make every endeavour to identify and prosecute the owners of the dogs responsible and is extending its sympathies to those affected.
That owner would have to know when those dogs go home covered in blood, and they should have enough guts really to put them down themselves.
We need to make sure that people, if you have dogs, look after your dogs, make sure you know where they are, they're under your control, that is your responsibility.
With the animals responsible still at large, St Leonard's livestock owners are being urged to remain vigilant and report roaming dogs to council. Anyone who witnessed last night's attacks should contact Crime Stoppers. Monika Dadson, Southern Cross News.
Tasmania's salmon industry will be permanently regulated by the Environment Protection Authority under new draft legislation. Proposed by the state government, the draft bill could also mean finfish farming exclusion zones are easier to legislate.
The Primary Industries Minister says new draft legislation for the salmon industry aims to build community confidence.
We want to see the industry grow, employ more people and maintain community confidence.
Under the proposed bill, the EPA will be the permanent regulators of the industry.
Currently that's done through order from me as Minister, but this will permanently transfer it through legislation.
The draft bill also includes giving the government more power to declare no-grow zones. Tougher penalties will also apply for companies that breach their licence conditions. But the Greens aren't convinced the draft legislation is enough to combat environmental concerns.
If the Liberals are serious about listening to the community on fish farms, they will woe up on the rapid fish farm expansion that we're seeing in marine waters in Tasmania, and they will tell Tassal to stay out of Oakhampton Bay.
Concerns about whether the EPA has enough resources to properly regulate the industry have also been raised.
We need to ensure that the EPA has the resources to monitor the industry and ensure that best practice is occurring.
The bill is now out for public consultation. It's expected to be tabled in Parliament in August. Meanwhile, Labor has accused the Hodgman government of refusing to adequately fund the state's peak youth organisation. Josh Willey today calling on the Premier to immediately commit to increasing funding for the Youth Network of Tasmania.
It's got to a point where we're struggling to perform basic operations in terms of being able to deliver what the government wants of us.
And there's 87,000 young Tasmanians who need to be heard, and they need a peak organisation with the capacity to be their collective voice.
The government says the funding request is under consideration. Monika Dadson, Southern Cross News.
A fire that gutted a car in Launceston CBD overnight has been deemed deliberately lit. The car was set alight soon after midnight on Wellington Street. Police say the vehicle was listed as abandoned about 3 days ago and it was unregistered. Damage has been estimated at $1,500. Anyone with information should contact Crime Stoppers. There are no plans to change the UTAS Stadium siren, despite many fans failing to hear it in the final moments of yesterday's nail-biting draw between Hawthorn and GWS. Umpires heard the siren through their earpieces, but due to the loud crowd, many players and coaches didn't.
Not by the Hawks, just have to get it over the line. Burton slapped it. No score. No score.
Because I didn't hear the siren, I thought we'd won it, but yeah. Anyway.
It does meet all specifications and it meets the standards, and really it was just one of those games where it's such an exciting finish and the crowd was making such a noise that some people in some parts of the stand couldn't hear it.
The confusion has been compared with the 2006 Siren Gate saga, which saw the AFL change the game's result the following week.
Devonport has surprised the competition, with Mitch Thorpe booting the first 4 goals of the match to put heavy favourites North Launceston under the pump. But the Bombers found their feet, eventually overrunning the Pies.
The only ones who were giving the Pies a chance against the Bombers were the Pies, and the visitors came out brimming with belief. Mitch Thorpe taking control of the match early, booting 4 majors in a row as the Bombers' backline struggled to find an answer. As he's done all season, Brad Cox-Goodyear stood up when needed, finally getting North on the board before the first change. The Bombers' big guns firing in the second, with Tom Couch and Mark Walsh narrowing the gap to 1 major. As the pressure built, the cracks started to show for Devonport, gifting the favourites the lead. Tom Bennett extending it, with the Bombers 14 points up come the long break. Thorpe soon had his 5th when play resumed, and the Pies almost had a second win. But the Bombers' experience and class was enough to get them over the line in the last term, with 19 points the final margin.
Well, after being all but written off earlier in the Siebel season, the Northwest Thunder are back with a vengeance, following 2 solid wins away from home. The Tawns also impressing against Kilsyth as the Chargers once again unravelled on the road.
Going down to the wire in Kilsyth, Ahmed Stark's 28-point heroics saw the Thunder with an 8-point lead at the start of the final quarter. The Cobras kept coming, sinking a crucial long-range bucket to get back within 3. Starks was steady on the free throw line, keeping the visitors in the box seat, with the side holding their nerve and making it 2 from 2 on the road with a 4-point win. Taylor Roberts was on song for the Tawns, top scoring with 23 points, as Lauren Mansfield showed why she recently earned a call-up to the Opal squad. The Tawns too good for the Cobras, closing out the match with a convincing 12-point win. And the Chargers will have some soul-searching to do after dropping another match on the road. Painfully close for the women as well, also going down to the Tigers by just 3 points. To soccer and an arm wrestle at Darcy Street this afternoon, with South Hobart and Olympia slotting one apiece before half-time. Mark Ortman gave the Warriors the lead after this blistering run from Jake Vandermeer. But South struck back just minutes later with Ben Hamlet squaring things. Scenes then turning fanatical when Oscar Thomas sent this miracle in from halfway, giving South a 3-2 win in the dying seconds of the match. Overnight, a stalemate in the north, with Launceston City and Devonport unable to put any through the back of the net. Another deadlock at the NTCA grounds, with Lanao Atkinson striking first for the Rangers before the half-time whistle. But celebrations were short-lived when Sam Randall found himself on the other end of this through ball just 2 minutes later, with Clarence squaring it for the 1-1 draw.
Good evening. After a cold start, we've had a mostly fine day with some showers in the west. Hobart reached a top of 12 degrees. It was 11 in Launceston and 13 in Devonport and Burnie. -6 was the state's low overnight at Lyoini. It warmed up to 7 degrees there during the day. Wynyard, St Helens, Friendly Beaches, Bushy Park and King Island all shared the state's high of 13. It was 12 at Low Head and Strawn and 11 degrees at Maria Island. Here we can see some low cloud over Bass Strait, eastern Tasmania and southern parts of the mainland. Zooming in over the state, low-level cloud over parts of the west with an area of convective cloud about the northeast. Tomorrow the chart shows a cold front crossing Tasmania. Looking at the coastal waters, west to northwesterly winds reaching 30 knots about the north and south in the morning, swells building to 4 metres. A strong wind warning is current for northern coastal waters between Stanley and St Helens Point, as well as southern waters from Tasman Island to Low Rocky Point. Taking a look around the state tomorrow, a shower or two for Hobart, 11 degrees, Dover and Ouse both expecting showers with a top of 10. Launceston, a partly cloudy 13, 12 and partly cloudy for Devonport and Scottsdale. A possible early shower for Burnie, 12 degrees, Strawn, showers 11, Stanley 12. St Helens, partly cloudy 14, Swansea 13, Ross 11. Tuesday will start out cold and frosty, with showers about the west and far south and snow falling to around 800 metres in the morning. A fine and mostly sunny day otherwise. We'll have another cold morning on Wednesday before a sunny day around most of the state. And Thursday, showers in the northwest extending statewide through the afternoon and evening. Now let's take a look around the mainland. Tomorrow, Darwin, mostly sunny, 32 degrees. Brisbane, possible rain, 20. 18 and cloudy for Perth. Sydney, 17, partly cloudy, and a shower or two developing in Melbourne with a top of 15. And right now in Hobart, it's 9 degrees, mostly clear. Launceston, 7 and clear, same for Devonport. And right here in the studio, I think it's a lot colder than that. Thanks, Rach.
Yes, you should have had a jacket on. Thanks for that, Britt. Well, that's all your news for now. Thanks for joining us. Have a safe and happy week. Good night.